Hello everyone and welcome back to The Games Must Go On, a series where the only person forcing me to do this is my mass times acceleration. Today we're going to be asking the very simple question of can you beat Super Mario Galaxy as a complete pacifist? So without further ado, let's just jump right into the rules. The rules here are pretty simple. We're not allowed to kill anything. The only three exceptions to this are if the enemy has a key or a star in it, or if the enemy infinitely respawns, because in that case the enemy's not really dying, it's just teleporting back to its spawn. It's definitely still okay and not having any broken bones. But with that being said, let's just jump right into the run. We start the game off in the Gateway Galaxy, and here we make our first real revelation, that being, no enemy is really in our way. Everything can be skipped with just careful movement, sort of like the coinless challenge. As such, a lot of the levels won't be talked about here. However, it is important to bring up the Goombas that we did have to kill here, as they had keys in them, but because of their keys, their deaths were justified. But with that, let's move on to the first real galaxy of the run, Good Egg Galaxy. Good Egg Galaxy 1 actually starts off pretty eventful, as we have to do a couple of minor sequence breaks in order to make it past some piranha plants that we would normally have to kill. One we can pass with a simple triple jump, and another we can skip with a backflip off of this boulder generator. Now, that's not all I wanted to talk about in this level, as we also have to deal with Dino Piranha, our first boss, and like all the bosses in this run, because it gives us a star, it will be allowed. But with that being said, that's Good Egg Galaxy 1 done, and we can move to Good Egg Galaxy 3. This is actually an impossible star. And while you might originally think it's because we have to kill King Caliente, he has a star in him, so that's perfectly fine. The problem is actually getting to King Caliente. In order to reach him, we would normally have to defeat a prickly plant and a pokey. Now the prickly plant can actually be skipped by using a precise jump, but the pokey has a launch star inside of it, so we obviously have to kill him. And unlike stars and keys, launch stars are not a cause for enemy death. As such, this level is impossible, as well as any other level that has launch stars required that are inside of enemies. Thankfully, that star isn't required. Instead, we can go for Hive 1, which has one problem with a piranha plant that we would normally kill for a vine. Instead, we can take damage from the plant to lose the bee mushroom and then use a very precise jump and wall jump in order to skip the vine. That basically sums up the terrace. With enough stars, we can go ahead and take down Bowser Jr.'s Mega Leg and move to the fountain. Our first problem comes from Space Junk Galaxy Star 2 in the form of two octopi that we have to kill in order to lower down a bridge. Now while we are able to kill Koopas and use their shells because they infinitely respawn, we aren't allowed to use their shells to kill enemies, and that includes these octopi. So we're going to have to find another way to get across this bridge without the bridge. While the obvious solution here is just a long jump over the gap, the developers realized you could do this and actually put an invisible wall to stop you from doing just that. However, this invisible wall is only above the platform, so if we were able to get underneath the invisible wall and then find some way to get extra height, we would actually be able to get past it. And thankfully I have a way to do just that, and it involves these enemies. Basically what we have to do is we have to long jump underneath the invisible wall and then get shot by one of the fiery projectiles at the perfect time to send us straight up onto the platform, and that's easier said than done. But with enough attempts I was eventually able to get it, meaning it is possible to get this star after quickly disposing of Kamala. After that, there's not much to talk about in the fountain. Not even Emerald Hill Zone and its rampaging Starball, as well as all the very crushable enemies, poses any threat to us. I will mention that Star Free in the Battle Rock is impossible though, because we have to kill a top man in order to reveal a launch star. But other than that, there's not much to talk about, and we're able to take down Bowser before moving to the kitchen. Surprisingly, the kitchen doesn't really feature any problems, and we're able to skip through it before taking down Bowser Jr.'s airship armada, giving us some easy levels and easy stars before moving on to the bedroom. Because of how easy the kitchen was, I was actually able to collect enough stars to skip straight to Bowser in the bedroom, and with him down we could move to the engine room, but I do want to grab some stars in the bedroom before we move on. While the majority of the stars here are pretty easy, there are a couple of impossible ones. the first of which being Gusty Garden 1. And that's because of these planets with vines on them. Normally you would kill piranha plants to spawn vines to move to the next planet, but we can't do that in this challenge. However, you can actually use precise jumps in order to skip these vines. So why did I say that was impossible? It's because the last planet, instead of having a vine, it has a launch star inside of a prickly piranha plant that we can't kill. So I do have to say this one is impossible. We also get stopped at Dusty Dune Galaxy Star 2 as we have to kill a Pokey in order to spawn another launch star, so that's another impossible one. After getting some more stars, I decided it was finally time to fight another boss, so I decided to head over to King Caliente's Revenge. This is actually an impossible star, and while you might originally think it's because we have to kill King Caliente, he has a star in him, so that's perfectly fine. The problem is actually getting to King Caliente. That's because the only way to get to him is to actually kill 2 octopi that have a launch star inside of them, and because of the challenge at play, we're really not allowed to kill them. However, I did see with testing that the octopi could kill each other, but even if one kills another, we still have the one that fired a shot to take care of, as both of them have to die. And while I did try to get timing to work, the octopi didn't let it happen. It certainly doesn't help that it would have to be a frame-perfect shot as well, because as soon as one of the octopi dies, their shot will actually be automatically destroyed. So, in order for this to theoretically work, both octopi would have to shoot each other on the same exact frame. But with that star out of the question, that causes some real problems, as now we're unable to actually access the gate and, more importantly, the garden, cutting out 1/6 of our stars. So we're gonna have to backtrack and grab some stars that we missed. The good news is we still have a plethora of stars that we can attempt. And with the help of Freeze Flame Galaxy, Gold Leaf Galaxy, Sea Slide Galaxy, and Toy Time Galaxy, as well as some Hungry Lumas, we have enough stars to go to the center of the universe. As the final level of the game, it actually doesn't have that many enemies, instead focusing more on platforming challenges, which is great for us as it makes for a pretty easy last level. And after finally passing our fist through Bowser's face, we can finally say that yes, it is possible to beat the Super Mario Galaxy Pacifist Challenge. So with that being said, I'd like to say thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.